People often tout both of these as Grail statues. Today, we're going to find out which one is better. Hey guys, my name is Mr. X, this is the Xtreme channel, and this is about as extreme as it gets when it comes to collectibles. We have two custom, these are private unlicensed commission, Dr. Doom on Throne statues. And most people would probably give an arm and a leg, or at least a nut like I did, to own one of these. I'm blessed enough to be able to have both in my collection. I thought, I only need one Dr. Doom on Throne, or do I? So let's look at them in depth today and do what we call an Xtrumble. An Xtrumble is an Xtreme Rumble where we compare and contrast these statues. So this is going to be me taking a subjective view, and for all you scholars out there, subjective means it's my opinion on these two different pieces and kind of comparing and contrasting the basic things we look at when grading a statue. I have reviewed both of these individually, so we're not going to go into those types of specifics. If you want to check those out, here first is the review of the one on my right, the one on your left. And then here is my newest one, the one on my left, the one on your right. And we don't like to talk about where customs come from because they're private unlicensed commissions. But with that being said, this particular custom came from a group that stole a whole bunch of money from people. So we'll go ahead and name that. This is by RCB. We'll call this one RCB, and we'll call this one the other one. Now both of these are long sold out. You can only get them from secondhand buyers, and we'll talk a little bit about price for both of them. But before we dive in, check out this giveaway. We are giving away these two Mortal Kombat statues by PCS, one at the 15,000 sub giveaway, the other at 17,500. To enter, just comment on this video. This is one of the videos we may pick for a random comment. Also, make sure you have liked this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Right, so we're going to start off with the classic categories. First, we're going to look at concept. Well, concepts are identical, aren't they? I don't know. Let's look at it. So first, it is Dr. Doom on a throne. They're both slightly leaning forward. They both have their right arm up. Their left arm is on the armrest. But I think the thrones are a little bit different. So this one right here, I almost attribute this to more of a royal throne. Very king-like, very ruler, emperor-like. Where this one does have a lot of those features, but it has more of the magical features that Doom encompasses and where a lot of his powers come from. Whether that's from the candles or the alchemy books or even some of the signs and designs that are on there, where this one, like I said, it's more all about him being the ruler. So they are very different concepts, and they both suit Doom. I mean, Doom is a ruler, and he also has like some of that mystic, magical arts that he is into. So I think both capture different aspects of Doom, but otherwise they're very similar. And I think both work very well. I think certain collectors will gravitate towards this one, and certain collectors will gravitate towards this one. But honestly, I think it's a tie between both of them when it comes to concept. However, design, I don't think will be a tie. First of all, they both have a number of switch outs, and again, they're very similar switch outs. You can display both of them with their hoods on, and both of them with their hoods off. You can also display them with masked versions or unmasked versions. You can display them looking at their hand or looking at their mask. So regarding all the different display options, I don't think there's a lot of difference other than the other one here does have a small light up feature, and he can hold a cup. But also with design, we look at the size. So these are both supposedly 1/4 scale, meaning they're 4 times smaller than they would be in real life. The one over here is only about 22, 23 inches tall, where this one is about 24.5, 25 inches tall, which honestly hurts when you're trying to display it in a Maji case, which is only 24 inches tall. Width on this one is only about 18 inches, where this one is damn near 24 inches. Also, the design on this piece lends to a lot more potential breakages, including the thin carpet on the front, the horns on the top. If you recall on that review, I talked about how some of it broke in shipping. And to me, this one, a lot of people think it's more cluttered. I don't mind it at all, but a lot of people do jump on the fact there's too much going on with this particular throne. The cup on the front here is actually an addition I added after the fact, where this one, a lot more clean. And also with him crouching forward, you don't want to put this on a lower shelf, even though ironically that's where I actually have him. So I think the other one has a slight edge in display ability than the light up feature, especially display ability with the size. So I have to give the design to the other one. Now we're going to look at paint for both these pieces. So these are both factory painted. They're not painted by a professional. And they're both very, very good. This one, because you have a lot more going on, you have a lot of different things you have to do with the paint. If you recall in the recent review, I said this is one of the best factory paint jobs. Yes, I said factory paint jobs that I've ever seen. But on this guy right here, I do like the fact that they went more of a green. It's not a faded on his cloaks. I like how the armor is bright and shiny. I almost feel like it should be reversed because this is kind of where he's working in his mystical, magical throne, where this is royalty. So I almost wish this type of armor was on this guy and vice versa, and same thing going on with the cloak. However, I do have to say it's still pretty clean on this piece, but the tones don't jump out at you because there's none of those bright colors and there's so much gray on this piece. So I think that that actually hurts it, which is more of the art direction of the paint I'm talking about compared to the is this paint done well? It is done pretty well. But once again, I think the edge slightly goes to the other one on the paint. Sculpt is where it gets incredibly difficult. Both are done by two of the top 5 sculptors in the world. This is done by Franco, this is done by Caleb. And if you're new to statue collecting or the community, you should know who those names are. But I think this one, even though this has a lot more going on, there's a lot more detail on here, especially if you recall from the review the stuff on the back, the ornate designs on the side, how good the cushion looked on the chair. I think Doom is pretty comparable. It's very different styles on the armor of Doom and the mask of Doom as well. Just a preference, I like the portrait of Doom on this one better, the sculpt of it. However, the sculpt on this is done very well, just my preference is more over here. I think this is incredibly close on the sculpt, but I do have to give the sculpt once again to the other one. And you're like, Mr. X, the other one's the clear winner. Not so fast. Next thing we need to talk about is value, which is a big deal. So the original retail price on these shipped was right around the $1,500 to $1,600 range, where this was over $2,000. However, there's kind of some controversy around how many of these they actually made, how many of the RCB. Originally, there was like 99 or something of that nature. Then there was an exclusive version that came out after the fact with like 50 more, where this one was limited to, I think, around 60 or 70 plus some APs. So this one is harder to get. It's rarer. And I can't tell you why, but for the longest time, this piece was available for at retail with shipping, right around that $1,500, $1,600 mark. I paid for it a long time ago. I paid on the aftermarket about $2,000, $2,200. So I paid about the same price for both. I don't think I could get that money back from this guy today. I think if I was patient, I was lucky. This guy I could make a profit on tomorrow without a doubt. I could probably make a $1,000 profit, if not more. For some reason, the going rate is much higher. It doesn't have a bad reputation. Even though the statue is fantastically done, there is kind of a negative stigma with this. There's a much lower edition size, so obviously value goes to this piece. Now when we come to the final score, the X Factor, both of these were a 5 out of 5 in my opinion. Fantastic statues, I absolutely love them. At the beginning I said I need to figure out, because I don't need 2 Dooms on Thrones, which one I'm going to keep. So that's kind of how I'm going to rank this. If I had to get rid of one, which one would I get rid of? And it's not as easy as you would think, because with this piece, I can get rid of this and make, like I said, $1,000 tomorrow, where I'd probably lose money if I got rid of this, and both are 5 out of 5 statues. However, I know you're thinking, Mr. X, when do you care about what kind of money you spend on statues? And you are absolutely right. So with that being said, I'm going to keep both of them. Originally, I was definitely going to get rid of one, and I actually have seen this one painted with the white cloak, like God Doom. I don't think I'm going to go down that route, but maybe I can put one in my Throne collection and one in my Fantastic Four collection that I have building. But realistically, I think it is clear the other one is the better statue. Final score goes to this piece right here. It is amazing. I love a ton of things about it. My biggest negative, and I didn't really talk about it in the reviews, I don't like how pointy his shoes are, but that's kind of the ties to the old Sideshow Doom that is decently comic accurate, where this is more of a modernized take. And usually I like modernized take, and you may be one of those people too. So that's why right now I want you to comment below who wins in your opinion. I don't think there is a loser, honestly, but if I had to, if all things were equal, I would definitely keep this one, and I'm keeping both of them because they are both amazing statues. I would definitely say the one on the left is a Grail. The one on the right, pretty close to Grail status. For a lot of people, it would be. And honestly, before this guy came out, I probably would say he was a Grail. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. A little bit different, mostly just looking at me yap about these two amazing pieces. But you'll be able to see them from now on. They're both going to be behind me in the throne setup. So I appreciate you guys watching. Check out some of these other videos, very similar. If you haven't subscribed, hit that Mr. X logo and that bell notification. Take care of yourself until I talk to you tomorrow.